Eric Sorensen, pros2preps.com, alongside Chris Cartman, publisher of ASUDevils.com. ASU comes up short tonight, 37-34 to Notre Dame here in Arlington. And Chris, we got to start with ASU's offensive line. Looked okay early, but Taylor Kelly ended up getting sacked 6 times. What happened?
Yeah, as the game wore on, they just didn't really hold up to the Notre Dame pressure. It's hard when you're playing behind and you have to throw the ball because they didn't really establish a run earlier in the game. They had 25 carries for like 60-something yards, and that was it. And when that's the case, Notre Dame does a really good job of holding back into their zone, making you throw the ball complete underneath and extend drives. ASU couldn't do that enough. They had a couple drives where they had 1 first down or 2 first downs, but then they had to punt. And then what makes that even worse is that they didn't do a good job with punting the ball. They had 4 or 5 punts that were in the 30-something yard range, and that gave Notre Dame shorter fields. And in a game where it's closely contested between 2 teams, you got to have a better field possession game.
You mentioned pressure. ASU didn't get any pressure tonight on Tommy Rees, 0 sacks. What exactly was the Notre Dame offensive line doing to keep the Devils out of the backfield?
So they were audibling at the line of scrimmage a lot when ASU was showing zone blitzes, and they just couldn't get there. And the problem is when you bring 5 or 6 man pressures and you don't get to the quarterback, you have man coverage in the secondary. So TJ Jones, who's a really good player, probably their best receiver for Notre Dame, he was open down the field. They threw a lot of fades to the field side as opposed to the boundary, which is kind of where they expected the ball would go on those sorts of throws. And they completed a lot of balls down the field in one-on-one coverage. I don't think ASU secondary did a great job. Demarius Randall did play really well. He had 17 tackles, which is an incredible number at safety, but he dropped the interception at the end of the first half, and Notre Dame scored a touchdown on that drive in 80 seconds, which was also a killer.
And ASU, when they've won, they've been opportunistic on offense. Tonight, we talked about in the first half, the Devils had a chance to really step on Notre Dame's throat. They could only get 2 field goals in the red zone.
That's a big challenge. We talked about that before the game. You have to convert your red zone opportunities into touchdowns. Notre Dame did convert its first 2 red zone opportunities into touchdowns. And then if you do that, that changes the whole game around. If you force field goals, the other team forces, allows you to score touchdowns, that's a big deal. And then Notre Dame scoring at the end of the half in 80 seconds, that plus the turnovers, which, ASU lost that battle. I mean, those things combined are the difference in a close game.
So ASU again falls 37-34. They return home, they'll lick their wounds and take on Colorado next Saturday at Sun Devil Stadium.